Hi, hope you're okay. My name is Dana and welcome to this stretch session. So this is going to be nice and short. You can do this in the morning, you could do it after a workout, you could do it before bed, you can do it any time. And we're just going to keep it nice and slow and stretchy so we feel really nice and lengthened, and it will help to reduce risk of injury. Okay, so if you have a mat out, I would probably suggest that you have a mat for this. We're just going to stand at the end of it. And we're just going to start very gently by standing with our feet hip width apart. We're just going to think about the toes and the heels. We want that weight evenly distributed through the feet and through the legs. We want to roll these shoulders back and down the rib cage. The chest is lifted. And we're going to imagine we've got a rope pulling us up really tall from the crown of our head so our spine is lengthened. We're going to place our hands on our pelvis and we're just going to rock that pelvis forwards and backwards, going through a nice pelvic tilt. What I'd like you to do is find a midway point on this pelvic tilt. Imagine you have a triangle on the front and it is now parallel to the wall in front of you. So the glutes are slightly engaged and the tailbone is slightly tucked, so we just feel a little bit longer and more realigned through the body. Now we're going to go for a roll down. So we want a C shape through the spine for this. So we're going to place 2 fingers on the neck as a guide if you've not done this before. We're going to hook the chin over to look at the mat. So we're lengthening through the cervical spine. Then we're going to roll those shoulders forward, C shape through the spine. Belly button in to engage through the abs. And then very gently, we're going to roll ourselves down 1 vertebrae at a time. If you have any lower back issues, please bend the knees, and we're not aiming to touch the mat. Just come down as far as you can and then very gently roll yourself back up. So we're doing a mixture of dynamic and static stretching, which means dynamic is moving, static we're going to hold, okay? So just make sure that pelvis is realigned, tailbone is tucked before we go down again. So if you want to use your fingers again, you can as a guide, or you can just hook the chin. Bring the shoulders forwards, belly button in. Let's do same again. So this is great for really reducing any pain or tension that we may have in the back. Just to open out through the spine. And again, let's roll ourselves up so we're really nice and tall. Start to feel how that spine is lengthening already. And just curl that tailbone under very slightly. Doesn't need to be too exaggerated. This will be our last one. So again, hooking the chin, shoulders forwards, belly button in. Roll yourself down. This time, I'd like you to take both hands and just take them round to the outside of one leg. I want you to keep that same leg nice and straight and feel the stretch in the back of that leg. Notice how that feels. And then very gently take the hands all the way around to the other side, the outside of the other leg, keeping that leg nice and straight. You can feel that stretch there. And then very gently come to centre, bend through the knees and bring yourself into a child's pose. So feet together, knees apart, lengthen the arms all the way up the mat. Steady breaths. From here, we're just going to take both hands off to one side of the mat, stretching down the side of the body. And then bringing those hands back to centre and then taking them off to the other side of the mat. Then bring yourself back to centre and then very gently walk those hands back up towards you. Now let's come into the side lying position. So you will need a little bit of space behind you. And we're just going to bring the arms in front of us. So you may want a cushion to lie your head on, but you don't need one. We're going to have the arms just in front of us in line with the shoulders. And from here, we're just going to inhale as we take the arm up in line with the shoulder and exhale as we bring it forwards. Inhale as we come up. You might feel a bit of a stretch in the chest. Exhale forwards. And again. And just notice how that feels. So the knees are bent, they're nicely supported. They're supporting that pelvis. Now, if you want to, you can take that arm back a little bit further. So really start to feel that stretch and exhale forwards. So inhale as you take the arm back and exhale. Perfect. Feel that in the front of the chest. So if you are a desk worker or if you drive quite a lot, you might really feel this. And let's do one more, last one. Perfect. From here, let's just bring that bottom arm just underneath us. What I'd like to do is just take that top arm on top of the hip, so rest the head. And we're going to inhale as we reach up and over. And we're going to exhale back. And again. So this is nice and stretchy. So really reach that arm up and over. Just see how that feels. Perfect. Now, can we take that top leg? Can we straighten it out? And can we just lift that leg and get that leg as straight as you can whilst you take the arm up and over, and then lower the leg as you lower the arm. So we're just stretching through this side of the body. Inhale, up and over, exhale. So keeping this leg nice and straight. So this is a great little bit of hip strength work as we're working through stretching through the arm, the armpit, and through the side of the body. Okay, let's go for one more on this side. Fantastic. Now, with that leg, what I'd like you to do is just take the foot behind you and grab it if you can. So make sure we don't roll back, okay? So make sure that you are just coming forwards very slightly as you just feel that stretch in the quadriceps, in the front of the thigh. Just hold it there, so it's our static stretch. And relax. So let's very gently just come onto the other side, and we're going to do that same routine again. So arms out in front of you, knees are bent, so the pelvis is nicely supported. And when you're ready, we're just going to inhale, take the arm up just in line with your shoulder. Then we're going to exhale forwards. Inhale as we reach up. Exhale down. We're just slowly building this up, so we're getting these muscles nice and mobile before we just test that range of movement. So if you feel you want to, you can take the arm up and back, exhale forward. So you'll need a bigger breath. Just notice how that feels. We're keeping this movement very mindful. We're not going into autopilot. We're being very aware of what we're doing and how it's feeling. So you can feel that stretch, can't you? Just in the front. How does it feel compared to the other side? Excellent. Let's do two more. Last one. Perfect. So if you need a bit longer, just pause the video and carry on. So just taking that bottom arm just underneath the head and top arm on top of the hip. So we're just going to inhale as we reach up and over. If you can't come this far, just come to wherever is comfortable for you, okay? So inhale up and over, exhale back. We're just tapping down on top of that hip. So we're getting some really nice shoulder mobility here. And we will be moving on to the hips after this because they can tend to be quite niggly, and they can be a factor in lower back pain for some. How's this feeling? Inhale up and over, exhale back. Now, shall we have a go at straightening this leg? So get it nice and straight. We're going to inhale as we lift, exhale back down for a little tap. Perfect. How's that feeling? Excellent. Really think about lengthening. We're really lengthening through the muscles, through the body, to improve this range of movement so we can move a bit easier and a bit freer. Excellent, let's do 2 more. Then we're going to do that quad stretch. Last one. Perfect. So if you just take that foot behind, make sure that you're just going to bring that weight forward slightly, just rock forwards a little bit, just so you don't rock backwards. And just pull that foot up and in. Feel that in the front of the quad. So some people struggle to do this when they're standing, so you can always do this lying. It can be a little bit easier just to get the foot up. And relax. So if you want to just roll onto your back, I'm just going to open up just a bit through the hips and then through the back, okay? So what I'd like us to do is just to inhale as we drop one knee out with control, and we're going to exhale as we come back to center. Change legs. Inhale as you drop out, just letting it just fall wherever it wants to go. Exhale back. Inhale as we drop out, but try not to let it drop without any control, okay? So we're just letting the weight of the knee come out to the side, wherever it wants to go. And just notice if one hip feels more restricted or tighter than the other. Perfect. So I'd like to bring the core in here. So what I'd like us to do, when the knee comes out, I'd like you to push the lower back down. Can you feel those abs engage? Exhale to center. Then let the abs soften. Inhale, drop the knee out. Imprint, so push that lower back down. Exhale, bring the knee back. So we just want those abs engaged as the knee comes back to center. Don't worry if you're not sure. Just a little bonus here, just engaging these abs. And the back. Perfect. Now let's bring the back in here, so a bit of back mobility. Take the arms out to the sides, feet and knees together. Bring the feet in a bit closer, they might have come away. And we're just going to take both knees over whilst keeping the shoulder blades down. Now you can squeeze the abs as you bring the knees back to center. And change, so inhale over, squeeze in the abs and come back to center. So we're just mobilizing very nicely through the lower part of the back, through the spine, and we're stretching these muscles nicely in the back as well. Inhale to take the knees over. Can you squeeze the abs? Imagine you're crunching them. Exhale back to center through the effort. Let's do one more on each side. And last one. Back to center. Hug those knees into the chest. Just ease off that lower back. Little rock side to side if you want to. Bring the feet back to the mat. Feet and knees together. Let the knees drop. If you can, take your arms by your side. So 90-degree angles either side. Feel the stretch in the chest and in the hips. And just hold it here. Let the weight of the hands and the knees just take over. But if it feels too much, you can put some cushions underneath the knees or the hands. Just feel that tension, just reducing slightly. Just reconnecting with the body and how it feels. Very gently bring those knees back together. We're going to take one foot across the opposite knee. We're going to reach around behind that thigh and pull it in. So we're stretching through the glute. If this feels too much, then you could put a cushion behind your head just to raise you. It makes it feel slightly easier just to get your hands around this thigh. And let's change very gently. So foot across and you're reaching behind that thigh. So hands either side of the thigh, hug it in. You can have the head lifted for this if you want, that's okay. Steady breaths, feel it in that glutes. Glutes can get quite tight without us realising it. And again, very linked to the back and posture. Okay, so let's ease off. Let's bring ourselves up to seated, however feels comfortable for you. We want to get these legs as straight as we can get them, which I know is tricky for us. And what I'd like us to do is just bring our hands just in between, just drop the head and reach. So can you point the toes up? Can you keep the knees down without pushing them? Hold it here, feel it in the back of the legs. And then can you reach forwards just a touch more? Can you feel it down the back of the legs? Can we take our hands over to one leg? It might be the toes, it might be the shin. And just feel it in that one leg. Try and focus on that leg being as straight as possible. Nice big stretch here. And then very gently change legs. So wherever you can go, wherever you can reach, keeping the leg as straight as you can. Bring those hands back to center. Can you reach forwards any more? As those muscles just give in just a little bit, they just stretch just a touch more. And they just loosen just a bit. And relax. Perfect. Let's bring it into the all fours position. And just before we do that, we're going to do a puppy pose, okay? So feet together, knees apart, slightly different to your child's. We're going to bring the forehead down, but then we're going to slide the hands forwards. So now we're resting on the forearms and the forehead. And the hips are in the air. We're going to feel this a bit more in the shoulders. Steady breaths. Might feel it around the shoulder blades as well. Very gently, just walk those hands back towards you. Now come into the all fours position. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Let's take a breath in as we arch the spine up, dropping the head and the tailbone. And we're going to exhale as we arch down, as we look up very gently. Now let's do one more. So big breath in and breath out. Perfect. Keeping that head low, really important. We're going to go for a roll up, okay? So just walk yourself back onto your feet. So you want your feet hip width apart, keeping the weight just through the toes and the heels. You want the weight to be evenly distributed through the legs. Arms are nice and loose, head is low. Feel the stretch in the back of the legs. Can you feel you can get down a little bit further than you did at the beginning? When you're ready, start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Keep the head low. Let the weight of the arms just hang. Head coming up last. Take this steady. If you go light-headed, just take it really easy. And roll those shoulders right back and down the shoulder, the rib cage. And then just make sure that tailbone is very slightly tucked, chest is lifted, we're standing tall, feet hip width apart. And you're ready to go. I hope you enjoyed that. Please get in touch if you've got any questions, and I'll see you again very soon.